So when most people block, there's a lot of tension in what they do. So if he comes at me like this, and I go like this, what happens is I tense and I try and steer it. And I try and make an angle of it. But inevitably what most people do when they do that is they tense their hips, they tense their shoulders, and you don't have a natural move anymore. What you have is just tension. Ideally, when you want to create power in the body, you want pump. You want expansion, contraction, because one feeds the next one, which feeds the next one, which feeds the next one. If I tense, I have to untense and start again, which takes a long time. So I'm going to show you a couple of these just as an idea. So I'm going to do it with a stick so you can see it a little better. So if he goes like this, and I go like this, there's a tension there, and I'm stuck. But if he does that, and I go like this, now watch this, I'm going to do it slow. See how the body pumps? And what happens is I go like this. See how it goes like that? This allows me to unload. If I go like this, say I went this way, same thing. See how I open up, and now I can unload. If he comes lower, and I go like this and I roll into myself, it allows me to unroll. So the secret to doing a lot of these is the fact that your body has to pump all the time. So everything I do has to roll and pump because it creates energy, right? So every time I roll, what happens is it allows me to come back naturally, and it's like a bow, right? Like I pull the bow back and I let the arrow fly. So I'm using these to create power. If you just go like this, you have to untense, create power in the body again, and then go back to him, which is really, really slow. So I'm going to use a knife on this just because it's easier to see. So watch, if he comes in, I roll like this, right away I can then come back to him that way. If I go like this, see how I'm open like this? That fires nicely. Everything he throws, see how I load, I unload. If he comes in, I want to unload, or unload, or unload. I can do that. So every time he comes in, like this way, see how I can press, I went this way. Now, as I come down, I can use that to wave into him, right? So I wave and I wave. I wave and I wave. And the faster he comes, the more it gets power, because his speed creates momentum in my body, and then I just give it back to him. So if he comes in, I can come with a lot of speed because he's creating it. So the secret to this is, one more time, see how as I went like this, instead of me going like this, stopping, and then resetting and punching, I created a motion, which opened me, which creates the motion coming back. So when you're starting to get the idea of this, you'd be amazed how fast this happens. Speed isn't always you trying to go fast. What speed is he creates a load in my body, which immediately unloads with very little effort on my part. If I try to go really fast, like that's muscle, that's tension, that's reflexes, it's tired. But if I just use speed from the body, from what he created, there's a lot of power there. So, how do you practice this? Me personally, I like to start with a stick because it's easy to see. So if he comes at me slow, I'm going to roll, right? Now, here's the key to this too. I can't just roll and stay there. I have to get off the line. So if I'm on this line, I have to create a space for that thing to go through so it falls into the hole. It goes like that. It goes like this. It goes like this. It doesn't matter. Like I always want to move forward. So here's another thing too. Remember, below the solar plexus, it's down. Above the solar plexus, it's up. So if he comes high, it's going to be up. If he comes low, it's going to be down. Very simple. So every one of these, when you do it, the object is to go like this and feel how your body loads and how it wants to unload. Loads, it wants to unload. It loads, it wants to unload. And then eventually what happens is he starts mixing it up, going into different positions. Sometimes maybe he'll take a swing, right? I want to load, unload, he'll come in straight, he'll load. And all the time, I start playing with directions and angles. But every time I do this, like, I load, I unload, I load. Now, that's a safe way to do this too. So the next step of this is you load and just gently unload. Don't worry about hitting him, just air, right? Load and unload. Load and unload. Now, I'll preface this is a heavy blow, not like a jab or a quick blow, but probably a fighter who's not really educated but wants to just come through and take your head off. The next step of this is here comes the punch. And you want to practice how you use these to protect yourself, right? And you want to get used to the idea of helping with your hands. As you get better with it, you get used to the idea of how do I use this to hit him right away. It only works, see if I load. Now, I'm doing this, one last tip on this. I'm doing this as an oh shit. What I mean by that is if I was ready for this and he was punching, I'd just come get it. But the problem is we all practice like that all the time. And sometimes you're not ready. Sometimes someone hits you and you're not looking or not ready for it. Or sometimes you put yourself in a position where you missed. And then all of a sudden that thing's coming at you. And you got to know how to defend yourself from a very awkward spot. You should practice this two ways. You want to practice this like you're ready. And then you want to practice this like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. So I'm in a bad position. Uh-oh, I'm in trouble. Here comes another one. So that way, you always get used to the idea of what happens if I'm in a bad spot. Because I can't tell you how many people I practice with. Always practice like they're ready in a good position. Make sure you practice in bad positions. Otherwise, you're going to be in a lot of trouble if you end up in that. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Hit that notify button. Please feel to share, and thank you guys for watching. It really helps the channel grow.